Hello, everybody. This is Ryan.
And this is Kyle.
And today you're listening to
The Doctor's Watcher, the podcast where I watch Doctor Who and I tell you all about it.
Quite so. And it is an exciting episode this time because we are getting a new serial.
Indeed. But before we get into that, how have you been doing?
Oh, I've been doing all right. Been kind of dealing with an unexpected house remodel and a few things like that, but shit happens. Really, it was, some horrible flooding happened because of a leak we didn't know about in the tub, but
that sucks.
Yeah, trying to be silver lining about it, so I'm calling it an unexpected bathroom remodel.
Right on. Yeah, you were talking about that online a little bit. That sounds like serious pain in the ass.
Yeah. I mean, it's basically fine, but it's just like a lot of little things that are annoying, mainly.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I mean, there is the factor that I have to pay the whatever that amount of money is called, where you have to pay it and then insurance takes over later.
Oh, yeah.
I can't think of the word, but
dumbass fee.
Right, yeah.
I just invented that on the spot.
Yeah, no, that's totally appropriate. It's like a dumbass fee or a sucker fee. Like, I give them so much fucking money, and then like a sucker, I accept that I have to still pay, some certain amount.
Like, haven't I already met the dumbass fee in like my monthly premiums?
Right. Oh no. They're going to take you for as much of a dumbass as they possibly can. And that's, just what society is. So yeah, I have to pay the dumbass fee. And then like for a while we had to sleep in the guest bedroom because part of like the mitigation for getting a lot of water in your floors and ceilings and whatnot is they cut away a bunch of the drywall, and then they have like shit tons of fans and heaters and these machines that like pull moisture out of the air and like shunt it down a little tube that goes down, the drain.
Mm-hmm.
And so that was very loud. So since
definitely.
It happened in our master bathroom, like it was really loud in the master bedroom, but it was like white noise. And actually the first few days, like over a weekend when they started, I kind of enjoyed it because like I slept really well with all the white noise, and like we couldn't hear the annoying neighbor kid who has a emotional support vehicle that's very, very loud, which she likes to, fire up at like 11:30 p.m. or 5 o'clock a.m. sometimes. And it's like, fuck you, you little dick. But I couldn't hear that, over
Nice.
the fans. But then Monday came around and I had to wake up for work, and I couldn't hear my alarm either. Like the alarm, my phone alarm, I think it plays for like 10 or 15 minutes or something, and then it just gives up and turns off if you don't stop it. Yeah, that happened. I had no idea the alarm was happening. I slept way in and was late to work. So
damn,
we had to move to the guest bedroom. So we actually just went back to our normal bedroom a few days ago because the drying portion is complete. Well, the work part is complete. There's still drama with that because then the insurance was like, okay, cool. We've approved some of the money to get that done, like $8,000 and change. And the mitigation company was like, okay, cool, no problem. Well, we have not charged. We have an invoice for $24,000 and change. So it's like, what the fuck? That's like a difference of 15,000 and change.
Yeah, that's like three times.
Yeah.
What? Yeah.
So like I talked to the insurance with it, and we kind of like went through the itemized invoice, and they were like, they're claiming that each of their guys had 2 changes of PPE per day per time they were there. And I was like, I don't think I ever saw them in PPE and like masks and shit. And he's like, they're claiming that they had 2 different generators there to power all their fans and all their crap. And I was like, no, I'm pretty sure they plugged those into my electricity and my walls and outlets.
Wow.
So like, there's all this stuff on the invoice that's like basically bullshit. Like they claim that they spent a total of 24 hours monitoring and taking records and readings and whatever. Which, yeah, they came every day to check the moisture levels, but it was like 10 to 15 minutes per time.
Sure. Yeah.
So like, are they charging like an hour each for those? Like, so it's like, on one hand, it's like, fuck you guys, this number is insane. But on the other hand, fuck insurance. I hope they have to pay most of it.
Yeah, seriously.
Because like, they're already fleecing me, they should get fleeced. I sort of respect this company for like cranking it way up. Because like, what's happening now is the insurance has hired a third party company to like look over the whole thing and like see what work was done and like decide what was reasonable, and they'll come up with some third number presumably in between the two, and then hopefully like the two kind of parties can agree to that or whatever. Like, I have no idea how that's gonna like fall out, but yeah, it's just very stupid. I'm pretty sure that I'm not on the hook for any of that, because I have to pay the dumbass fee, and like,
right,
that's it. That's supposed
like,
to be all.
Insurance should pay everything past that dumbass fee.
Right. Like, in my mind, it's on them. Like, they have to fucking deal with it. They can say yay or nay to the third party thing or whatever. The other company also can say like yay or nay to this third party number. But yeah, as far as I'm concerned, like, that's beyond the things that I care about, because I have paid the amount that insurance told me to pay. The deductible, that's the fucking word.
Right. Yeah, that's it.
So anyway, luckily I kind of have a reasonable, like, I'm keeping in mind like that dumb shit, that dumb drama is like not something I actually have to care about. But if I didn't know that, it'd be really, really stressful.
Yeah, seriously.
But yeah, so we're on to the unplanned remodel part. So we're going to be like, I think we have a meeting on, in a couple days to meet with the builder guy and his tile guy, and we're going to pick out tiles for the bathroom. Because the entire, like, even though the entire floor tiles weren't all removed, they have to replace all the tiles by law, because otherwise, like, if they do it kind of piecemeal, it will lower the value of your house.
Oh, sure. That makes sense. Yeah.
Because like, that's a weird, and I'm sure USAA loved this, but they had to agree to retiling the shower area also, which is, it's kind of a large shower area. It's like nice. That's part of the reason why we bought this house. But it's like all tiled also, and it's the same tile as the bathroom floor.
Oh, sure. So it's got to continue to match.
Right. Again, they can't do it piecemeal. They have to do the entire thing. So, but yeah, like, work isn't even going to start on that until next year sometime. Like, well, we can choose the stuff, but like, they're not even going to get going on it until like a week and a half from now.
Yeah.
Because listeners, you may not realize this, but it is almost holiday time for us.
Indeed. When does this episode come out anyway? Yes, for you listeners, it is February 7th if you're listening on the day this is released, but for us, It is December 20th. Tomorrow is the solstice.
That's right. Yeah, I'm actually a little bummed about that because I have a little ritual I like to do on solstices and equinoxes, but because of some work bullshit, I'm not able to do that.
That sucks.
Oh, well. Yeah. That's okay. Anyway, how have you been?
I've been doing all right. I had a very minor insurance-related annoyance that I was just thinking of a minute ago because it was related to my homeowner's insurance. The type of mortgage I have is the kind where the mortgage company actually pays the homeowner's insurance. Like, I pay into an escrow account or whatever every month, and then they use that to pay the insurance for me.
It's kind of convenient.
Yeah, it's nice. I got a letter from the insurance company that was like, hey, we've sent your mortgage company this bill like twice and they haven't paid it yet. So if they don't pay it within the next 20 days, we're going to bill you for it. So I got on my mortgage company's website and, sent them like a support request or whatever that was like, hey, got this email from my insurance company. Are you guys going to like pay my fucking bill or what? And never heard back from them. Sent them a follow-up email like 4 or 5 days later saying like, hey, sent you this email about this bill about this letter my insurance company sent me. Still never heard back from them. So a few days after that, I called the insurance company and was like, hey, before I go like call my mortgage company and hassle them, like, can you check and just see if this is paid yet or not? And the person I talked to at the insurance company had to look it up in like 3 different systems and call some other department. And like, it was really difficult for them to tell, but eventually they were like, yeah, looks like it has been paid. I'm like, all right, cool. So then I didn't go hassle the mortgage company, but I still have not heard back on like either of the actual email support tickets I sent them.
What the fuck? And isn't that great how like the insurance company is like, yeah, so if these other people don't do a thing the other people are responsible for, you are going to be in deep shit. It's like, look, this isn't a me thing, you guys.
Yeah, like send your collection agencies after my fucking mortgage company.
Right.
If they don't pay it.
Right. Like they should be on the hook for that.
But what I was actually going to talk about was this thing that I just recently finished building that you saw a few photos and stuff of. I have been working or had been working on it on and off for a few years. It's kind of a long story that I'm sure I will deliver the summarized version of here. But it is a model of the Enterprise, by which I mean the starship NCC 1701D. And it's like a, metal and plastic model with, LED lights. It's, couple feet long. I think it's, if I remember right from like all the information they sent about it, it's bigger than the original filming model.
Oh, cool.
It's smaller than a later filming model they built, which was like 6 feet long. It's much smaller than that, but like bigger than, what they filmed for like what you see on screen in the first season or couple of seasons at TNG. And it was a subscription thing, which is part of why I was working on it for a long time, because they'll send you just like, a box of pieces every month, basically, and you add them to your ongoing set. But So it was pretty fun. I think it turned out pretty nicely. There are some flaws with it, and the building process itself had a few frustrations, part of which was that the original company that was doing it went out of business like halfway through my subscription.
Oh no.
So there were several months where I was just like, well, I guess I will just have like half of an enterprise and this will never be finished because the company doesn't exist anymore. But then some other company like bought up all the previous company's assets and like restarted it and shit. And so I was able to like subscribe with them and like pick up where my subscription left off and stuff and finish it up.
Nice.
But the other main frustration I had with it, and a reason why I was stalled out for several months, is because, you know, it's in like several different chunks, right? There's like the saucer and like the sort of engineering body and like the neck that connects them and the nacelles and everything. And so there are like, I don't know, probably 4 or 5 different sections that have like independent switches to flip the lights for that section on, and like different power sources and like, you know, PCBs to wire up all the LEDs and everything.
Yeah.
And one of those sections just doesn't work. The lights just don't turn on, and I don't know why. And I had originally thought that it was a battery case issue, because I had previously had an issue with a different battery case in the model where like one of the wires got disconnected. And so they had replaced that battery case for me, and it worked from then on. So I asked for like a replacement for this battery case, and it still didn't work. And I got another replacement and it still didn't work. And then I was like, all right, I guess the problem is like in the wiring or the PCB or something. But it was going to be like really difficult to actually figure out what the issue was, because the model was like too built up at that point, and like a lot of the wiring was kind of buried and hard to access. So I didn't put like the final covers over the screws and stuff on that section in case I someday want to go back in and like actually try to figure out what's wrong with it. But for the moment, just like the sort of the front bottom section of the ship just doesn't light up.
Dang.
And like there was another part where the lights sometimes are fine and sometimes they kind of flicker and get dim. So I think there's like a bad connection or like a pinched wire or something. But yeah, I guess that's just what it is for now.
Well, still, when you shared that video, it looks awesome.
Yeah, like I thought the video turned out pretty well.
Yeah.
Maybe I'll post it on the Doctor's Watcher YouTube account also.
Yeah, that'd be cool to let the listeners see that we actually do things in real life other than talk about Doctor Who. There's not much, that we do other than this, but one or two things we do.
Yeah, for sure. We do Star Trek shit. We read Dungeon Crawler Carl books, and we talk about Doctor Who. That's at least 2 other things.
Right. Video games. There's another one. One thing I was curious about, though, was how much does that Enterprise D model weigh?
A lot. I haven't actually weighed it, but yeah, it's pretty hefty. I was nervous the whole time I filmed that video because it seems like the stand that comes with it is possibly precarious, or not the stand itself, but the stand only goes into the back section, and then it's got this heavy saucer section on the front. that definitely kind of like tilted downward a little bit when I put it on the stand.
Oh, dang.
So yeah, I was worried the whole time I filmed the video that like the saucer was going to break off or something. It's supposed to actually be separable, but I think, I don't know, the things it attaches on got attached maybe too tightly or something, because I can't really get the saucer back off.
Dang.
But yeah, it's pretty heavy. Like you definitely have to like support the back and the front when you lift it and stuff.
Wow. That's pretty cool. Yeah, I remembered you like describing it being made like a lot of the parts were metal and stuff. So yeah, I wondered like how much it seemed like it would be heavy, but I didn't know for sure.
Mm-hmm. Cool. Did you have any jokes for us?
Yeah, I do have a joke. It's a little bit of a long one, but if listeners, if you recall that we're, in the holiday season, this one will kind of be on theme for us, but not for you. So 3 guys die on Christmas Eve and, go up to heaven, and they meet St. Peter at the pearly gates. And St. Peter's like, yeah, because it's Christmas time, you have to show me that you possess something that symbolizes Christmas. And if you do, I'll let you in. So they're like, okay. So the first guy like digs around in his pockets and he pulls out a lighter and lights it and says, look, this is a Christmas candle.
Nice.
St. Peter's like, cool, go ahead and go in. The next guy comes up, digs around in his pockets, pulls out his car keys and shakes them around and says, they're Christmas bells.
Nice.
St. Peter's like, yeah, okay, cool, go on in. Third guy,
pretty low bar here.
Yeah, he's not really being a jerk about it. He's kind of letting anything go. But the third guy looks stressed. He's been digging around in his pockets this whole time, pulling a few things out, putting them back in. He's not sure. So he gets up to St. Peter, and St. Peter's like, what do you got, man? The guy, like, you almost see like this light bulb go off on his head, above his head. He reaches into his pocket and he pulls something out, and he kind of like shakes it out, and St. Peter sees that it's a pair of women's panties. St. Peter's like, what the fuck? And the guy's like, these are Carol's.
Nice.
St. Peter lets him in.
Nice. That's a good one. Good moral too. Like, yeah, always carry something representing Christmas.
Right. Especially, carols.
Well, cool. This is, of course, the 37th episode of season 4. And as we mentioned earlier, it is the first episode of a new serial, which is... Oh, hang on one sec. Our producer has just let me know that I should not follow the BBC's example this time, and I should actually withhold the title of the serial until the end of the episode.
Oh, that's fun. Okay.
This serial was written by David Whittaker, who was, of course, the first script editor of the show. He also wrote The Crusade, and he wrote The Power of the Daleks, which, of course, was your first serial and Patrick Troughton's.
Yep. Did we discuss back then if there was any relation to Jodie Whittaker?
I don't remember if we did or not, but I am not aware of any, but I haven't actually looked into it.
Okay, fair enough.
I think she might spell Whittaker with 2 T's and he spells it with only 1, but I'm also not 100% sure on that.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure she does use 2 T's, but I don't know how he spells his.
This was directed by Derek Martinez, who also previously directed Galaxy 4 and Mission to the Unknown and The 10th Planet. So he's a Doctor Who directing veteran at this point.
Indeed.
And this one is another one that is available in fully animated form on one of the BBC's YouTube channels that I have previously mentioned. So that is where I watched it, at least.
Cool.
Yeah. Do you want to remind us of our cliff dangler from last time?
Yeah, so we'd wrapped up the faceless ones, which was really kind of more about aliens that were stealing people's faces, not really going around faceless.
Right.
And,
they could have called it the face stealers. I guess that's kind of harder to say, but
right. Or if they wanted to like modernize it and really terrify people, they could call it something like identity theft.
Uh-huh.
But yeah, so they kind of wrapped that up. I think by like strategically turning some of the aliens to goo until like the leaders until they kind of like gave up. And then the doctor was like, "Yeah, I'll help them out a little bit anyway because they really do have a crisis on their planet." And then Colin realized that it was basically, I think, the exact day that they had left Earth when they first flew away.
Coincidentally, the exact same day.
Yeah, so basically they were like, well, cool, we'll probably never ever be back in this time and this place ever again if we keep hanging out with you, so we're actually going to go about our life. Uh-huh. And I think the doctor made reference to Ben becoming a naval admiral and Polly, was it keeping him out of trouble or some shit like that?
Something like that, yeah.
And yeah, they wandered away and never came back to the show, as far as I'm aware. And then we were just left with the doctor and Jamie.
Yeah, and the doctor's like, by the way, Jamie, we lost the TARDIS.
Oh, yeah, right. Yeah, that was the actual cliffhanger. Yeah, there was... the TARDIS was missing. Uh-huh.
So we basically pick up like right from there. Jamie and the doctor are actually like still on the tarmac at the airport. And they see a flatbed truck just drive off with the TARDIS like strapped to the bed of the truck. And, you know, they like run after it, but obviously they're on foot and it's a truck driving away, so they don't catch it.
Like, why do people on TV, why do people run after cars that are obviously going much faster than they can?
Yeah, seriously.
I always thought that was weird.
Yeah. They head over to like basically the refueling station at the airport and start asking the person who's like working at that station about it. And this guy's like, oh yeah, like that got collected, like, you know, there was an appointment arranged to pick it up or whatever. He shows them like, here's where the person signed for it. And doctor's like, that was my fucking property. And so this guy suggests that maybe they should talk to the airport commandant about it. But the doctor's like,
oh, no, I don't think we'd better do that. Jamie, I think we better talk to the police.
Yeah. I think they probably had enough shenanigans with the commandant at that point.
Like, yeah, we only hired him for those 6 episodes. Like,
right.
This refueling station guy tells them that the company that like arranged the pickup or whatever is called Leatherman. So Jamie and the doctor rush off to go investigate this. And then we see that this whole conversation was spied on by some other dude who's like hiding out in the bushes and is listening in through the refueling station guy's hearing aids. And he's like watching through binoculars.
Dang.
Like refueling station guy like is aware of this. He like talks to him and stuff. So this dude, the spy dude, calls on his like walkie-talkie or whatever back to his base, and he talks to this dude with like huge mutton chops and like old-fashioned suit jacket and tie and shit. And he tells this mutton chops dude that the doctor and his friend are following Bob Hall.
I knew they would suspect him.
I'll go on to the warehouse.
Very good, Mr. Kennedy.
But Bob Hall gets in a car and drives away, so the doctor and Jamie hop into a taxi cab and tell it to follow him. We cut over to Mutton Chops, whose name we learn is actually Waterfield. And he's in like a study or an office type room. There's a knock on the door, and he lets in this guy named Perry. And Perry is like pretty impressed with this clock on Waterfield's desk. It's apparently an antique from probably around 1870, and it appears to be in mint condition. It's like pristine. Perry kind of like hints about wanting to know like who made it or where Waterfield got it. I think because of the condition it's in, he's assuming that it's like a reproduction of an antique because it's like so new and stuff. But
Sounds
Waterfield,
cool.
Waterfield's just like, lol, no, I'm not going to tell you where I got it because, like, you know, it's my source basically. It turns out that Waterfield's like an antiques dealer essentially. And Perry's kind of like his assistant. So Perry starts asking what they're going to do with this weird old police box they got. And Waterfield's just like, dude, I pay you a lot of money, right? So how about you stop asking questions? And Perry basically says that he's totally happy with his job and his pay and whatever, like, as long as Waterfield doesn't ask him to do, like, anything illegal. And Waterfield's just like, yeah, whatever. Jamie and the doctor find the car that they were following at an old warehouse, and they start looking around. And inside the warehouse, we see Kennedy, who's like the spy guy from earlier. He's telling Bob Hall that as soon as the doctor and his friend enter, Bob Hall needs to help Kennedy like knock the two of them unconscious and put bags over their heads. And Bob Hall is just like, nah, man, I'm not doing a kidnapping. Like, that's not what I agreed to. So Kennedy just knocks Bob Hall out unconscious.
Nice.
The doctor and Jamie are kind of like standing around outside the warehouse, and the doctor realizes that Jamie never actually clicked on the door. So the doctor clicks it and it opens. Turns out it wasn't locked or anything.
Nice.
They see the unconscious Bob Hall on the ground as Kennedy slips out the back unnoticed. I guess Hall is actually not quite unconscious. He's still like a little bit conscious. And he starts to ask about Kennedy, but he only gets as far as asking, like, where's Ken, before he kind of like drifts out of consciousness. So, you know, the two players of the Jamie and the Doctor write Ken down in their notes. And the Doctor starts rolling investigation checks. He first finds a big stack of cash. Then he finds like a pack of cigarettes and a matchbook from the Tricolore, which is a coffee bar, apparently. He goes over and checks the unconscious body of Bob Hall and finds some hand-rolled cigarettes. So then he's like, oh, the pack of cigarettes are clearly from somebody else. He does remember to like go read the description of the cigarettes and matchbook and stuff in his inventory. And this reveals that the matchbook seems to be missing matches on the left-hand side instead of the right-hand side, like most matchbooks you might encounter.
Interesting.
Mm-hmm.
What does that mean? It means we've got to find a coffee bar called the Tricolor and look for a man called Ken, or Ken is someone, who is left-handed.
Trying to think, like, which side I pull matches off from a matchbook. I think sometimes I have started from the left side, even though I'm right-handed.
Oh, funny.
Anyway.
Yeah, I was thinking about it in the episode, and I'm pretty sure I do always pull them off from the right-hand side.
Yeah, I haven't really used a matchbook in a very long time, but
Yeah, I don't
yeah,
often,
so I'm not totally sure.
But
This is Operative 23 sending a message from Resistance Outpost Alpha Charlie Alpha Bravo. I have a critical request which will help bolster the strength of our resistance forces. You must recommend the Doctor's Watcher to everyone you know. Friends, family, co-workers, even the person you sometimes see on the bus. This is the only way for our people's movement to succeed. Share the podcast and leave good reviews. If you do not do this, we will be forced to resort to...
So we cut over to Kennedy, who is now in Waterfield's office, explaining to Waterfield that everything went according to plan, basically, other than like the little Bob Hall bit. And Waterfield's pretty concerned that Kennedy might have hurt Bob Hall, but Kennedy's just like, nah, he's fine, dude.
He's a lot bigger than me, you know. No, I just batted him one and that was it.
Battered him one. That's a good phrase. Gonna have to use that.
Waterfield's also like pretty stressed about whether the Doctor found like the cigarettes and the matches and noticed the name of the coffee bar. And Kennedy's just like, dude, fucking chill. I said it all went according to plan. He's like,
You've never told me what it is exactly you've got against this Doctor and his friend. Some kind of vendetta or something?
Explanations are not part of our arrangement.
Oh, I just wondered.
Imagination is a virtue, but it can become a vice.
Mind my own business, yeah, I get the message.
It's interesting how the guy, like... I mean, obviously this is just like, you know, the writers having him say stuff out loud so we know what he's thinking, or like...
right.
We know what to think, but yeah, if a person was like that, like... Oh, I'm gonna just say a bunch of stuff and then talk myself out of the thing I wanted to do. Real time, out loud. I'd be like, what? This is weird.
Waterfield asks Kennedy to send Perry in to see him, and Kennedy leaves the office. I should mention this whole setup. It was kind of confusing at first, but I think it's basically like Waterfield's mansion is also like has his antique shop in it and his office and study and whatever. So Kennedy leaves the office, and as soon as he's gone, Waterfield opens up this lockbox and takes another key out of it and uses this key on a secret hidden keyhole in his bookshelf. And the bookshelf then like slides to the side, revealing a room with like metal walls and like a throne, kind of a big throne chair basically. And then also these two like devices or structures or whatever that are like big metal arms. They're like a few feet off the ground, kind of like coming out from the wall, but they're not part of the wall. They have like bases holding them up and supporting them. Mm-hmm. And on the floor in between the two arms is this fancy vase, basically, which Waterfield retrieves and like takes back out into his main office and puts it on the desk. We cut to outside the office where Kennedy has apparently been like listening through the office door the whole time that Waterfield's doing this. And Perry shows up and Kennedy's like, "Oh, I'm totally like not spying on your boss or anything. By the way, he wanted to see you." So Perry heads in and he's like, "Whoa, nice new vase. I didn't see that arrive." And Waterfield's like, "Oh yeah, I got that delivered last night and brought it into the house myself just now." And he says that it's for a new customer, Dr. Galloway. And he tells Perry that he had arranged to meet Dr. Galloway at the local coffee bar, the Tricolore, but he can't make it, so he asks Perry to go in his place. He shows Perry a picture of Dr. Galloway and his assistant, and of course it's the doctor and Jamie. Waterfield even names like Jamie McCrimmon for Perry. He asks Perry to ask the doctor to come meet him at the shop around 10 p.m. tonight. And Perry kind of like balks at that for a second, but Waterfield's like, "Don't worry, I'm going to be taking care of him myself. Like, you don't need to wait around or anything." So Perry's like, "All right, whatever," and heads out to the Tricolore. The doctor and Jamie are already at the Tricolore, and at least in the animated version, it's this like super hip, like, 1960s coffee bar. This is a colored animation, and so true to the coffee bar's name, the walls and the bar itself are covered in like blue, white, and red stripes, kind of in like zigzag patterns, but clearly like reminiscent of the French flag. There's like,
awesome,
hip music playing and everything. But they don't know what the person they're supposed to meet looks like, so they're just kind of like waiting around. Jamie thinks that they're dealing with just like simple thieves, but the doctor's like, no, there's definitely more to it than that. Like, we wouldn't have a whole serial about just like thieves stole the TARDIS.
Right.
He says that he followed up on the Leatherman clue that they wrote down earlier, and it turns out there's actually not a delivery firm with that name in London. And he really wishes that he knew who their enemies are.
It's not the chameleons again. No, something else. And feel them. Feels it all around us.
least it's not the chameleons.
Uh-huh. Yeah, he's like, we just finished that story already, Jamie. The DM wouldn't give us 2 adventures about the chameleons in a row.
Right. Can't you tell this is a new module?
Uh-huh. Waterfield, meanwhile, has gone back into his secret room, and he's like pushing buttons on the control panel that's on one of the big arm things. It starts to hum, and then he basically like sits in the throne and waits, and then he's like, we hear him talking to something.
I've done everything that you've asked of me. Isn't that enough? Now you must tell me the truth. Did you hear the truth?
But whoever or whatever he's talking to doesn't seem to be responding. And then we also see that Kennedy is still like outside the main office door listening in, spying on Waterfield. We cut back to the Tricolore, and it's a little while later. The doctor has sent Jamie on a little quest to basically ask the lasses if any of them know a Ken or Kenneth who comes to the bar. And he's completed the quest, and they don't. But they do suggest that maybe like the evening crew might know him.
Mm.
The doctor realizes that they're being watched, and Perry comes over. And Perry's like, are you Dr. Galloway and Mr. McCrimmon? And Jamie's like,
I am Jamie McCrimmon.
So Perry gives the doctor his business card and explains that Waterfield couldn't come to meet them personally himself, but asks that they come to his shop at 10 o'clock tonight, where he will see to them personally. Doctor's like, cool, we'll do that. Perry's like, right ho. And he goes to tell Waterfield that he's definitely getting fucked tonight, or like doing the fucking or whichever.
Right. He's got a hot date lined up.
Uh-huh. Perry's like, see you in the morning. And Waterfield's like, yeah, sure, morning, cool. And Perry leaves. Meanwhile, back at the coffee bar, the doctor points out to Jamie that Perry's business card says K. Perry on it, so maybe they've just met Kenneth.
Smart.
Waterfield calls Kennedy over. Not really clear why Kennedy is still just like hanging out at the Waterfield mansion. I mean, other than spying on Waterfield, but obviously Waterfield doesn't know about that. But he calls Kennedy over, tells him that the doctor's going to be coming tonight, and that Waterfield wants Kennedy's help. Kennedy's like, oh, kinky. So Waterfield tells him that he should dress warm in dark clothing. And Kennedy's like, oh. And Waterfield leaves. As soon as he's gone, Kennedy pulls a lockpick out of his inventory and does the minigame and breaks into Waterfield's office.
Awesome.
The lock box is just like sitting right there on Waterfield's desk. And Kennedy's lockpick skill is high enough that like he doesn't even have to do the mini game to open the lockbox. He just like pops it open. And of course, there's the key inside of it. And the DM's like, because you've been spying and, overhearing so much that Waterfield's been up to, like, I'm going to give you advantage on your investigation check of the room. And he's easily able to find the hidden keyhole in the bookcase and opens it up and heads into the secret room.
Nice.
So in the secret room, he starts checking stuff out, he starts just like flipping switches and pushing buttons on the control panel on the arm thing. Because, like, why not? When you encounter some strange, mysterious electronics, why not flip switches and press buttons?
Right. That's how you figure it out.
Uh-huh. And nothing really seems to happen, though. So he, kind of wanders away from it, continues investigating the room, and finds a safe hidden behind a panel on the wall. So he, presses his ear up to the safe door and starts slowly turning the dial. He's obviously rolling on his lockpick skill again. And he's paying, pretty close attention to the safe. And so he doesn't really notice that the arm devices have started humming and flashing their lights. He actually cracks the safe. I don't know whether the whole thing in movies on TV of like listening to hear it click as you turn the dial or whatever. I don't know if that's real or not, but it works for him.
Yeah. I don't either, but this guy must have very high lockpick skill.
Yeah, definitely. And inside the safe are like stacks and stacks and stacks of cash. So he's looking at all this money, completely oblivious to the fact that a Dalek has materialized behind him.
Oh, shit.
Until it starts asking, "Who are you? Who are you? Answer!"
Damn.
And with that, the music plays and the words on the screen say Doctor Who Patrick Troughton.
Yeah, nice. Well, I guess the moral of this story is if you suddenly get fat stacks, watch the fuck out.
Uh-huh. Yeah, definitely. Like, a lot of the time, those safes are set up so your back is to the rest of the room when you're looking in it. So,
Right.
like, yeah,
There could be
careful.
traps, there could be Daleks, there could be other hidden rogues behind the couch or whatever.
Yeah, especially if you're like a thief in a mansion, like breaking into a safe with stacks of cash. Like, you got to maintain your situational awareness, buddy.
Yes, for sure. Like, you shouldn't just buff lockpick, you also want to buff perception.
Yeah, definitely.
Well, cool. This is a cool new serial, I must say. Even though it's kind of set in the exact same time and exact same city as before, like it's a very, and technically it also has to do with things being stolen, kind of, like, or, people taking stuff. Like, it's got a very different feel so far to it.
Yeah, it's definitely kind of seems like more of a mystery feel than the previous serial.
Yeah, and it kind of, I don't know if I like screen time wise if this is true or not, but it seems like with this first episode at least, like there wasn't even as much Doctor and Jamie as you'd expect.
Yeah,
like it seems like a lot more kind of set up, like other stuff happening around
Kennedy
them.
and Waterfield, and kind of setting the story background basically.
Yeah. Well, that's pretty cool. So were you going to reveal the name of the serial at this point?
Yes. Our producer has informed me that since we have reached the end of the episode, then I can reveal that the serial is called The Evil of the Daleks.
Ah, nice. Yep, that would have been a bit of a spoiler before.
BBC will tell you that right up front at the start of the episode, and then the entire episode you're like, wait, I thought this was about Daleks. Where are they?
Right. It's almost like a cliff dangler on its own, but kind of like an annoying one, because you're like, where's all the cool shit? You said there would be cool shit, but it has not happened. Well, I send my thanks to producer Matilda for imposing that rule upon us.
Indeed.
For this first episode.
She's currently about 3 feet away from me in her office. I'm sure listening very closely and intently, and that's why her eyes are closed and she hasn't moved in a while.
Right. She was probably listening super close just to make sure you didn't spoil the Dalek thing.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that's good that she's staying vigilant and keeping us on track there. Well, awesome. Can't wait to keep going on this serial. I wouldn't say the old one was getting, or the last one was getting old or, overstaying its welcome or anything, but it's definitely fun to have a new storyline and some new characters to be involved and everything. So that's great.
Yeah, for sure.
Well, awesome. Anything else to tell our listeners about this episode?
I don't think so. I was going to say something else about the end of the season coming up, so listeners should send in anything they might want us to consider in the wrap-up episode, but probably this episode will come out after we have already recorded that, I imagine. So hopefully if our listeners had anything, they sent it in the last time we mentioned it.
Right. Or maybe if they have access to a TARDIS or some kind of time-traveling mailbox or email account.
Totally.
I guess the sci-fi of the future maybe will involve, like, time-traveling email accounts. Like a future horror might involve, like, a haunted TikTok subscription or something.
You can already... on Slack, you can schedule a message, so I can say, like, send this tomorrow morning at 9 a.m. So it seems like it wouldn't be that difficult to extend it to be able to say, like, send this yesterday at 3 p.m. or whatever.
Right, true. Or again, from the horror angle, like if you're gonna, die or be killed or something, you could, like, schedule a whole bunch of creepy messages to be sent after your death. That'd probably be pretty funny if you played it right.
Yeah, totally.
Or pretty scary. Cool. Well, on that note, listeners, thanks for listening to me listen to Kyle describing the Doctor Who episode.
Indeed. And thank you, Ryan, for listening to me describe the Doctor Who episode and for composing our theme song. We haven't mentioned that in a while.
Oh, yeah, no, my pleasure. Yeah, of course. Oh, and something, can't remember if we discussed this last time, but I wanted to thank one of our listeners who has been corresponding with us a little bit, who explained what barley sugars were.
Oh, yeah. London correspondent Gordon.
Yes, that's right. So, yes, thanks, Gordon. Turns out, to our U.S. listeners, barley sugars are a type of candy that they have in England. Gordon says it's not his favorite sweet, but, as a kid, you're not going to turn them down. They're kind of like hard candy, I guess.
Yeah, apparently they would hand them out on airplanes for your popping ears on takeoff and landing and stuff.
Right. Barley sweet for the kid, barley drink for mom and dad. So, all right. Well, with that, I guess that we will be invading your ear holes in about 2 weeks.
Come back to hear all about the evil of the Daleks.
Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share. Bye.
Bit out of our line, isn't it, sir? Battered old police box.
The whims and caprices of our patrons is our line, Mr. Perry.
Odd, though.
Mr. Perry, I pay you the sum of 50 guineas per week, do I not?
Pounds, actually, sir. £50.
Yes. I hope I may be forgiven if I believe that entitles me to demanding less curiosity of you.
Sorry, sir.
It is, I think you will agree, a princely salary.
No complaints on that score. As long as I'm not asked to do anything dicey.
Dicey.
Crooked. Illegal.
Your candor is refreshing, Mr. Perry, even if your judgment of character is somewhat questionable.
I didn't mean that.
I know perfectly well what you meant. You may rest assured. I shall not ask you to do anything dicey.